So in this class, we are going to talk about properties of metal carbonyl complexes. Carbonyl complexes, it is one of the longest known class of organometallic complexes. You know, from the nickel carbonyl, which was one of the very oldest metal carbonyl complexes discovered. And it is a potential starting material for the organometallic complexes having the low valent metal center, and it can be substituted with a large number of ligands like a phosphine, olefin, arenes that can be substituted in the metal carbonyl complexes. So CO group stabilized against oxidation as well as decomposition. So in general, these complexes are quite relatively stable, and often they act as an intermediate in the homogeneous catalyst. So we will be talking about water-Rowland catalyst, so in which the cobalt carbonyl is used as a intermediate for the carbonylation catalyst. All the things we'll be discussing. So often this metal carbonyl complex are used as a intermediate in homogeneous catalyst. And the metal carbonyl complex are classified into different category. One is based on the ligands. So one is like homoleptic carbonyl complexes in which a metal is bound to only carbonyl. So those are called as a homoleptic carbonyl complexes. Examples like nickel carbonyl, chromium carbonyl, iron carbonyl, these are some of the examples. Another thing is heteroleptic carbonyl complexes in which organometallic complex having the both carbonyl and other ligands. So other ligand often phosphine, nitrosyl, these are the examples like nickel carbonyl phosphine, molybdenum carbonyl phosphine are some of the examples. Then other way of classification is the number of metal atom present in the carbonyl complexes. Based on that, we can call as a mononuclear metal complexes, where in which the only one metal atoms are present. That example like nickel carbonyl, chromium carbonyl. Again, these are the examples. Then polynuclear metal carbonyls, in which the metal carbonyl contains two or more metal atoms present in the metal complexes. Then homonuclear metal carbonyls, the polynuclear metal complex again can be subclassified into homonuclear and heteronuclear. That means two or more metal with the same metal center, like Fe2CO9, Mn2CO9, CO2CO8. These are the homonuclear metal carbonyl of polynuclear metal complexes. So these are the polynuclear metal carbonyl derived from one metal element. That is, one metal element is present more than two or three. Okay. Then heteronuclear metal carbonyls, in which polynuclear metal carbonyl complexes contain metals of different elements. For example, here MnCoCO4. So here both manganese and cobalt has present as a polynuclear complex in of carbonyl. Further, this polynuclear complex has been classified into non-bridged metal carbonyl and bridged metal carbonyls. What do you means non-bridged metal carbonyl? These non-bridged metal carbonyl complexes having the terminal carbonyl ligands and metal-metal bonds will be present. Example is CO2CO8 in liquid form, in its liquid form, and the Mn2CO10. These are some of the examples. Whereas bridged metal carbonyl, in which metal carbonyl complex having bridging carbonyl and terminal carbonyl bond will be present, along with the metal-metal bonds will be there. Example like Fe3CO12, Fe2CO10. These are some of the examples. And general preparation, the carbonyl complex can be directly prepared by the direct carbonylation methods. That is, treating with the metal in presence of carbon monoxide under high pressure and high temperature, we can get metal carbonyl. Examples are like nickel carbonyl and iron carbonyl. Another way, it can also be prepared by reductive carbonylation. So for example, you take the chromium chloride or tungsten chloride, in which the chromium 3 plus and tungsten 6 plus, in presence of aluminum and carbon monoxide, presence of benzene at high pressure and high temperature, you can see the chromium carbonyl and tungsten carbonyl can be prepared, where the reductive carbonylation. So metal in the +3 2 goes to zero oxidation state. That's why it is a reductive carbonylation, by which also we can prepare. The other way, the clusters of metal carbonyl can be prepared from the mononuclear complexes or simple complex, like for example iron carbonyl. When you treat with acetic acid in the presence of sunlight, we can see the dimeric complex Fe2CO9. The same way 3 iron carbonyl in presence of base, it forms the hydrate complex first, then subsequently in presence of manganese oxide, it forms the cluster complex. So these are the some of the procedure on the preparation of what we call as a metal carbonyl. It is important to understand the nature of bonding in the metal carbonyl. So in general, metal carbonyl can bind with three different types. One is like here it is called as a terminal where the metal carbon bond only carbonyl is attached to the only one metal center and forming the terminal carbonyl bond, carbonyl ligands. The other way, the carbonyl can connect it to two or more metal centers. When connected to two metal centers, then they called as a doubly bridged eta 2 carbonyl linkage, whereas others also triply bridged eta 3 linkage. So these are the common nature of bonding we can see in the metal carbonate clusters. But often metal carbonate complexes having doubly bridged center as well as terminal center. You can see the most of the complex having the doubly bridged and terminal center. In particularly clusters, you will have the doubly bridging, and simple metal carbonyl will have the terminal. Mostly it will present as a terminal carbonyl ligands. So common structure of metal carbonyl, you can see that it can exist in the tetrahedral nickel carbonyl complex or trigonal bipyramidal in the case of iron carbonyl, or it can exist in the octahedral like chromium carbonyl, or it can see even the manganese carbonyl dimer also present in the octahedral where the metal metal bonds are there, or some other tetrahedral complex like cobalt and other different types of geometry. It can exist in the different geometry. Here is some of the more cluster complex iridium, osmium. They are all exist in the different cluster complex. In general, they prefer semi-bridge or unbridged form because due to the metal-metal bond and metal-carbon-metal bond angle is not compatible with each other. So it is always it's preferred as a either semi-bridged or unbridged. What do you mean by semi-bridged? You can see here. So often eta 2 CO unsymmetrical CO present in the eta 2 CO form in an unsymmetrical fashion. So here you can see the some of the examples. When it present in the unsymmetrical fashion, it can act as either 4 electron or 6 electron donor also. So here the some of the example you can see that the carbonyl, say here it's connected to the metal directly terminal way, the other one is a bridged way. So it is a eta 2 what we call a semi-bridged. These are some of the examples of semi-bridged model of the carbonyl bonding. Okay, now we'll talk about the electronic structure of metal carbonyl bond. So common transition metal carbonyl bond behave like a resonance structures. So you can see that this is a resonance type structure where the metal center will have delta minus or oxygen will have delta plus. Otherwise, it will have the metal double bond, carbon double bond. Oh, this kind of resonance structure normally transition metal carbonyl exist. And often the bond order of metal carbonyl will be range from 1 to 2. The extent of bond order it goes to depends on the extent of back donation. When the metal is going to back donate more, then you are going to have the bond order 2. When there is less back donation, then bond order will be 1. Then bond order of carbon monoxide will be going to be in the range of 3 to 2. When there is no back donation, the carbon monoxide will have the bond order of 3. When there is a back donation, the carbon monoxide bond order will go to 2. So these are the common electronic structure. And one of the important or interesting property of metal carbonyl is, see, you know that oxygen is more electronegative than carbon, but still in metal carbonyl, the carbon is going to bind with the metal center. Why it is? So we can understand from the what we call as its molecular orbitals. So when you look into that, as I said, the oxygen is more electronegative than carbon. So oxygen will have the lower energy than carbon. When you talk about 2s and 2p orbitals of the oxygen and carbon, when you look into that, because oxygen is more electronegative, so it will have the along when you go from the towards left to right towards the row, you can see that the energy level will be increasing. So oxygen will have the lower energy than carbon. So energy gap between the 2s and 2p increases across the period. So when energy gap is going to be, when you talk about carbon and oxygen, the 2s 2p energy gap is going to be much higher for the oxygen. So the molecular orbitals of same, so when you construct the molecular orbitals, the molecular atomic orbitals asymmetry going to overlap. So s and p orbitals of carbon and oxygen have the same symmetry, which can overlap and going to give the what we call as a bonding in the carbonyl. So 2s and 2pz orbitals of oxygen and carbon. So 2s of oxygen and 2pz of oxygen and 2s of carbon and 2pz of carbon going to interact with this. So 4 atomic orbitals going to involve for the sigma overlap and give 4 sigma molecular orbitals. So you are going to give the 4 sigma molecular orbital, you are going to get it. Same way, px and py orbitals of carbon and oxygen going to interact on sideway and form the pi orbitals. So which result to the carbon monoxide molecular orbitals. We can say the 2s, the oxygen, as I said, that is a high electronegativity, their energy level will be lower than carbon, and moreover the separation is larger in the oxygen than carbon. So when you assemble, you can see that sigma, then another sigma, and one more sigma, and another sigma. That is, this sigma come from the pz. Again, this is also come from pz of the other. One is from oxygen, another one is from carbon. So you can see that there are 2 sigma and total 4 sigma. So this 2s electrons interact each other. So since oxygen have the lower energy, atomic and orbital of oxygen have the lower energy, so the molecular orbitals of bonding will be occupied by the electron from the oxygen center. Then 2s of carbon will be occupied here. Then the next pi orbitals. So next will, this is the pi orbitals. So pi orbitals, you can see that the pi orbital electrons mostly come from the what is called as the oxygen 2p electrons. Then there is a highly occupied molecular orbital, that is HOMO. The HOMO is a p sigma or non-bonding orbitals, that is mostly it comes from the carbon electrons. And LUMO also pi star orbitals, which is also of carbon characters. So you can see that highest occupied molecular orbitals and lowest unoccupied molecular orbital both are carbon characters. That is the reason through which the electrons, because this electron is going to donate for the metal forming the sigma bonding, then the back donation to LUMO result is the pi back donation orbital, that is metal. So that's why the bonding in metal carbonyl, it's going to be of more of carbon through the carbon center, not through the oxygen center, because oxygen electrons are in the MO, it is a inside MO. Okay, so pi acid ligands are well explained by the MO diagram of carbon monoxide. The HOMO of CO is sigma orbitals having higher amplitude on carbon. As I said, that is close to the carbon. So CO bond through the carbon center, because this is going to be involved for the bonding. So it's more of carbon characters. So HOMO is like a non-bonding lone pair, largely carbon characters, as I said, and LUMO also largely carbon characters. So that's why the metal carbonyl, the bonding is through the carbon center. All the oxygen is more electronegative. And bonding of CO to metal as consisting of 2 components. As I said, the first 2 electron donating of lone pair on the carbon into valence metal d orbitals. That is, a carbon lone pair is going to donate to the metal orbitals and forming the sigma bonding. Then when there is a metal become electron rich, in order to compensate the filled metal d orbitals, which will interact with the pi star orbital of the carbon. Okay, pi star orbital of the carbonyl, and forming the back donation lead to the what is called as a pi bonding. So that is a back donation, because of the back donation. So because of the electron is going to the d orbital electron goes to the pi star orbitals. So the bond order it's going to be in the carbonyl is going to be decreases from the 3 to 2 when its back donation is more from the metal to carbonyl. So you can see that here the metal orbitals. So metal having electrons and carbonyl electrons, which is involved for the sigma bonding. Then pi bonding characters mostly come from the metal center, and pi star it is going to be carbon center. So the carbon center of pi star, the metal is going to back donate. So that's why the bond order is going to be decreases when there is a back donation. So these are the structural property about the what is called about carbonyl complex. Then how we can find the, or how we can evidence that there is a back donation or there is a multiple bonding characters of metal carbonyl. So we can evidence from the mostly from the what is called as a one is crystal structure by the single crystal XRD or vibrational spectra, which is one of the most useful method to find out the extent of back bonding in the metal carbonyls. Okay, so back bonding from metal carbonyl increases, then what will happen? More the back donation, the metal carbon bond become stronger. That means metal carbon bond order will be going to increases. Whereas is the back donation result to the carbonyl complex having pi star orbitals. The electron is going to the pi star orbitals. So there will be, it's going to be decreasing bond order in the carbonyl. So carbonyl bond will be getting weaker. So with respect to bonding modes of carbonyl group can be evident from the stretching frequency of carbonyl complexes. You can see that free carbonyl which stretches 2143 centimeter inverse. When there is a terminal carbonyl, that is carbonyl connected to only one metal centers, because of the slight back donation, the carbonyl frequency is going to reduce little bit. That means if it is reduced means carbonyl frequency reduced means the stretch, the length is going to increase. That is bond order is going to be decreases. But it is not so much because only one metal center, and the extent of reduction will be depends on the nature of metal and nature of back donation. When the carbonyl is connected through the eta 2 carbonyl, that is a 2 metal center, then you can see that the extent of reduction is going to be much predominant. That means carbonyl become the more of between the triple bond and double bond characters. So you can, that's the result, the stretching frequency is reduces to 1750 or into 1850 centimeter inverse range. When the one carbonyl is connected to the 3 metal center, you can see that the carbonyl bond order going to be more of double bond characters, because the more back donation of electron from the different metal center result the carbonyl bond character will be more of double bond characters, so which result in the vibrational band observed at 1620 to 1730 centimeter inverse. So more metal coordinate with a single carbonyl, the bond order of carbonyl going to be decreases. Then another aspect is going to influence the bond order is the charge on the complexes. Say for example, you take the D10 configuration, nickel carbonyl, cobalt carbonyl anionic complex, then iron carbonyl dianionic complex, that is 2 minus. So when you see that the carbon monoxides, the vibration band, when you compare to nickel, cobalt and iron carbonyl, the stretching frequency is reduces. That means when the anionic charge, that is negative center, is present in the metal center, there will be more back donation because it is a cobalt anionic nature. That means it can, the negative ions can back donate more to the carbonyl bond. So that's why the bond order is going to decreases. So more in the case of iron carbonyl, this is 2 minus, so it's a more negative charge. So there will be more back donation. So carbonyl stretching frequency further decreases. So increasing negative charge leads stronger overlap between the metal and carbonyl ligands and facilitate the more back donation from the metal d orbital to carbonyl antibonding orbital, which decrease vibrational frequency of carbonyl, and it support the decreasing bond order of carbon monoxide. Here the another examples, D5S1 configuration where the manganese carbonyl, chromium carbonyl and vanadium carbonyl. See, manganese carbonyl is a positive charge, chromium carbonyl is a zero oxidation state, and vanadium carbonyl is a minus charge. All are having the same electronic configuration. So when there is a positive charge in the metal center, so metal will not facilitate the electron to the that means it will not give the back donation. Whereas when the case of vanadium carbonyls, where although the configuration is same, but metal center will have the negative charge. That means if it is negative charge, means it will facilitate to more back donation. So when there is a more back donation, the carbonyl bond order is going to decreases. That's why the vibrational frequency also decreases. Whereas the metal carbon bond will become more of double bond characters, or the strength will be increases. That is why the increasing the vibrational frequency of metal carbon bond also we can see that. So these are the some of the evidence that how the bonding is occur in the metal carbon. The another important aspect is pi acceptor or sigma donor present on the trans to the metal carbonyl complexes. Suppose if you take that metal carbonyl, so when you take the metal carbonyl, when the ligand trans to the carbonyl center in the metal carbonyl will influence the extent of back donation. Okay, so ligand mutual transposition compete for the electron donation. That means how much electron can be donated to the carbonyl center will be influenced by the ligand present in the trans. Say for example, when there is a both the ligands are carbonyl, then what will happen? Both will weaken each other to back donation, because metal will also try to back donate here, and the metal will also back donate here. So overall the back donation in both cases will be weakened. Whereas if you replace one carbonyl with the ligand with the pi acceptor, that is a weaker pi acceptor, that means the ligand which is not going to accept the electron, that means the metal will more back donate to the carbonyl than this another ligand, that is a trans ligand. That case, what is the happen is metal carbon bond is going to be, this bond is going to be strengthened, then carbon monoxide bond will be weakened. So example like pyridine or dichloromethane or sorry diethylene triamine, these are the ligands. They are all either it's called as a poor pi acceptor or only it's a sigma donor only. So it can only donate sigma donor ligand. So it will not accept for the back donation. That means metal can effectively back donate to the carbonyl center. So when its metal effectively back donate, then metal carbon bond will be increases, then carbon monoxide bond will be decreases. So here is the list of uh, ligands which have the stronger biacceptor and weaker biacceptor character I have summarized here. So for example, nitrosyl carbonyl itself or PF3, these are the strong biacceptor ligand. That means it can also accept the electron. When the trans ligand which can also accept ligand, then back donation of carbonyl is going to be reduced. So carbonyl will be more of even triple bond character, will be remain as a triple bond character. When there is a like a ligand like triphenyl phosphine, ammonia, these kind of things, where it is they are all like a sigma donor only. When they are only sigma donor characters, we can see that the back donation to carbon monoxide is going to be increases. So stretching frequency is going to be low. That means bond order is going to be decreases. So here's some of the examples. So when you take from, these are all the molybdenum complexes with a different phosphine, starting from phosphine fluorine to pyridine complex. So phosphine fluorocomplex, fluorophosphine complex, which is a very, it can be pi acceptor. So it is, if it is when it's pi acceptor means it is competent to it is going to compete with the carbonyl. So when there is a competitive with the carbonyl, the extent of back donation going to be less. So when there is extent of back donation will be less, so you will get a two stretching frequency 2055 and 2090, which is similar to triple bond characters. So when you go from fluorophosphine to chlorophosphine, the extent of back donation going to be increases. So your bond order is going to be decreases. You can see that. Then when you go to pyridine, so pyridine is the only sigma donor. It is not at all by acceptor. It is only sigma donor. So that means in this case the trans ligand is not influence the back donation. So the metal can effectively back donate to the electron to the carbonyl centers. So the carbonyl character will become the double bond character. So that's why drastic reduction in the what you call as a frequency of carbonyl. So better pi acceptor or poor back donating of trans carbonyl. Okay, so when there is a poor pi acceptor, the back donation will be stronger and carbonyl bond order will be reduces. So these are the overall structure and property about carbonyl complexes. So in the next class we'll talk about what we call as a nitrosyl complexes. Then we also talk about what we call as a isolabile analysis. Then we'll talk about what we call as a organometallic catalyst we'll discuss. So I stop here. So go through the presentation and shortly we will have some assignments. Thank you.